a new era gets underway for England this week.
And again, England fall just short.
'Cause it's a bittersweet symphony.
One of the best groups we've ever had, if not the best. We need a top manager.
Whoever takes over, I think they've got an emerging squad there that should do well.
Thomas Tuchel has, in the last few minutes, been officially confirmed as the new England's men's head coach.
It's the dawn of a new era, and we do have an elite manager, and we have got some elite players. So now, can he get that right formula?
I think that's exactly what the England dressing room needs. Someone who is a bigger personality than all of the players.
Knows how to win the big trophies, gets it over the line, which we haven't had, and he's got an unbelievable group of players to pick from.
Kane, history maker and record breaker.
I think we should be brave enough to play like an England squad.
Word of warning, there's a tough World Cup up ahead. Not easy to win. Go there and win, I'm telling you now.
If we want to be prepared to be in the next final and to make the last step, we need to do it now in the first camp.
Safe to say there was a little bit of a mixed reaction to his first England squad, but Forest midfielder Morgan Gibbs-White was indeed a late addition. As I said earlier, I thought he was considering himself extremely unlucky not to be in the first squad which was named, but thankfully he's now in. And I'm going to bring in a man who has plenty of memories in an England and Forest shirt. Played 78 times, I didn't know that, for the Three Lions, captained the side and went on to a World Cup and 2 European Championships. It is of course Stuart Pearce. Piercy, a very good morning. Thanks for joining us. First of all, how are you getting on, pal?
Good morning, Piercy. Glad you're feeling better, mate.
Are you in good form?
Really enjoyed your last hour with JT. I had a little listening on that. Very good. So on good form here, thank you, and looking forward to the international games over the weekend.
Brilliant. I was going to say to you, Pierce, the first thing I would ask you, I don't know whether you agree or not, I thought Gibbs-White, he's certainly deserving of his call-up. I thought he should have been in the squad in the first place.
Yes.
Because stating the obvious, and I've been there a couple of times this season, Forest are absolutely flying.
Yeah, it was the biggest omission, I think, from the offset. It was a glaring one. I couldn't believe he wasn't in it. The form he's on, not just the energy he's showing and his ability to create going forward, Ali, but what he does as well, working back for the team as well. He's been magnificent, instrumental in Forest attacking line up in midfield there. But I'm absolutely delighted. By hook or by crook, you get into an international squad, however it takes. Yeah. He's come in late into it, obviously a late call-up, but he's had the right mentality to a late call-up, and I think he could play a part over these 2 games.
Piercy, I wanted to know your thoughts on the actual squad that was announced. We're all going to moan, aren't we, about players that shouldn't have been in. For instance, Branthwaite, Hudson-Odoi, Delap. But overall, are you happy with the squad of players?
I'm really pleased with certain aspects of it. Eventually we got there with Gibbs-White, so I'm delighted with that. I think that's a bonus. Dan Burn, definitely, when I was on the coaching staff at West Ham, he was a name that I threw into the mix about when we were looking to sort of pre-Emerson, if you like, someone who could play left side, centre-half and left back, and someone who's got wonderful, wonderful character, so it seems from the outside, that will give a great deal to the dressing room. So I'm delighted for Dan Burn, but I think across the board I'm quite surprised that Branthwaite wasn't involved in it. I've got to say he's a little bit of a surprise, but listen, the manager, whenever the manager goes to visit and watch a game, certain players will catch his eye and certain players may not do as well, and that will sow a seed in his mind.
Piercy, what about, for example, Rashford and John Henderson? Were you a little bit surprised that they were included? A lot of people are.
Well, I think what it's done, Ali, is shown that he's prepared to make decisions. It would have been easy to leave Rashford out, definitely easy to leave Hendo out, that is for sure. Yeah. I've worked with Hendo. I know what he brings to a dressing room. He's captain the under-21s that I've been part of, and I love the kid to bits for everything that he brings. So if he thinks that his football's good enough, I applaud him for making these judgment calls. You know, he gets paid the big bucks to do that. And Jordan will bring a lot to the squad. He always has done it, and he's very patriotic to be part of this setup.
Pearcey, what's it going to take? I mean, obviously been very, very close, and it's a $6 million question and probably impossible to answer, but what's it going to take for this Thomas Tuchel squad to make the next jump, which is obviously win a trophy?
The key to me, Ali, and I've always said it, probably going back when I was working with Gabby and whatever, we have a lot of talent. It's, you know, there's no doubt about that. On paper, the talent is good, but it's making sure that those talented players are continually delivering performances over the whole of their career. Like, I look at the likes of, let's say, Gerrard and Lampard and people like that. I can never remember them having bad months or bad half seasons. You know, they have bad games. We all have. But we need to make sure the modern day player now of Foden and Grealish and people like that are not spending too much time on the touchlines or out of form and not playing for their teams. That is the biggest conundrum for an England manager, I think, to make sure, and club managers in many ways, make sure the real talent on paper deliver continually.
Pearcey, I wanted to switch now to your beloved Nottingham Forest. 6 points ahead of Manchester City now in 5th place. I've got to say, Pearcey, as a fan following Villa home and away in the Champions League, the Forest fans are in for a treat. I've really enjoyed it, mate, being away and seeing the fans celebrating, and it's like a 2-day stag do when the fans are away. It's exciting times for Nottingham Forest, isn't it, mate?
Oh, it's magnificent, Gabby. I've got to say, I mean, when I was playing for Forest and we qualified for Europe in the back end of the 80s, we had the Heysel ban and English teams back from Europe, so we missed out a bit then. Managed to get into European football in the mid-90s with Forest, and that was brilliant. Just to see, you know, some of the ex-players that had been around in the European campaign of the late 70s, early 80s, travelled, the Larry Lloyds of this world, travelled with the team, and they shared their experience with the sort of modern-day players like myself at the time. And it's brilliant for the club. Forest is absolutely rocking. When I look at the Premier League season this year, you look, Villa have had a brilliant campaign in Europe. Liverpool have had a brilliant league campaign. Forest, their campaign at this moment in time, they're the probably 3 talking points, you know. The relegation's been done and dusted a long time back, potentially. There's a little bit of a clamour, potentially. Newcastle's been a good story this weekend, but Forest is certainly up there with one of the big stories of the season.
Without doubt, Pearce, I was there the other week and it was just a pleasure to be there. See a lot of the old boys there. Met Ian Boyer, Big Woodsy was there, Nigel Jameson, it was magic. The place has just got a brilliant feel to it. And the most important thing is, brilliant to see you, pal, up and about. You're looking great and it's smashing to see you, pal.
Yes.
I mean, good Nick, fella, thank you very much. First gig, back on the gig scene tomorrow night, Stiff Little Fingers and our big band that you're a big...
Cannot. Jake Burns, SLF, inflammable material. Inflammable material, Pearcey. One of the great albums.
It's good to be back on the gig scene, my friend.
Pearcey,
if nothing else.
I wanted to ask you as well, did you finish Martin Keown's book? Was it any good?
Well, Gabby, when you dropped off in Eastern Canada with bugger all else to do, and you're left there with just no luggage, your luggage has gone to Heathrow, and I've just left with Keown's book. I thought, can things get any worse?
Pearcey.
To be fair, Martin's been on to me. He's been chasing me up about it. You know what I mean? I have finished the book.
Pearcey, it's a great book. I did it in 3 toilet trips. Take care, pal. We'll see you
Top man, Pearcey.
Right, so have a good weekend.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.